Hello and welcome back to Inversion Addicts. Today we're going to be looking at the secret weapons of Alton Towers. So Alton Towers first started using the secret weapon codename in the 1980s. The part we're looking for a replacement for Thunderlooper, a Schwarzkopf shuttle loop coaster that was situated where Blade sits today in the Forbidden Valley. By 1991, Alton Towers had actually started blasting out a pit for where Secret Weapon 1 would reside. But at this point, the resort had no idea what the new coaster was going to be. There were huge talks with Aerodynamics surrounding a pipeline coaster, which was delayed due to financial difficulties experienced by Aero. The project was then revived 12 months later and renamed Secret Weapon 2. By this time, Alton Towers had found a larger plot of land for a much larger coaster. Aero were back on. Plans were drawn up and a prototype of the ride was created by Aerodynamics. But after riding it, the legendary designer John Wardley decided the ride wasn't thrilling enough to be an Alton Towers secret weapon. Secret Weapon 1 and 2 just weren't meant to be. Moving on to SW3. The year is 1992. B&M had just created their first ever inverted coaster. Located at Six Flags Great Adventure, Batman the Ride would be a world-changing attraction. And after riding it, Mr. John Wardley had made his mind up that he'd found Secret Weapon 3. After a couple of years of development, testing, and of course building the ride, in 1994 the legend was born and Nemesis opened. The ride, which is situated in a pit, which Alton Towers actually blew out of the ground using TNT, circles around an alien life form that's been living underground at the Alton Towers resort, and recent constructions had awoken the beast. Nemesis was actually the first ride created by B&M to open outside of the United States, and is still a hugely popular ride today. Moving on to Secret Weapon 4. The year is 1997, and the area formerly known as Fantasy World had actually become a huge construction site. All rides but the Black Hole had been relocated, and the site had now become an area of mystique, with a seriously sinister undertone. To add to the effect, Alton Towers went as far as to hire actors to roam the area, posing as security guards, telling guests to leave the area.
Clear the area, please.
Alton Towers did really well to keep the project under wraps. It wasn't until B&M tracks started arriving on site that fans started to get an idea of what might be coming. It wasn't until 1997 that we got a big clue as to what was coming for Secret Weapon 4. It was at this point when Alton Towers released a rather unique Christmas card and became one of the first parks to harness the power of the internet by creating a bespoke website with, for the time, an impressive piece of flash animation with Santa's sleigh essentially plummeting down into a vertical nothingness. And then in 1998, Secret Weapon 4 was born and Oblivion opened to the public. What a fantastic addition to the park, still stands thrilling riders to this day. So or Secret Weapon 5, would take a slightly different turn from the previous secret weapons we'd seen. Although designed by John Wardley, there was no evil or sinister twist. This was going to be an oasis at the bottom of Forbidden Valley, where riders would have to prepare for of course, after assuming the position. Following on from the trend of the previous secret weapons, B&M came in development with John Wardley and created the first ever flying coaster. Not only was it an ambitious project, it was actually a prototype. We'd never seen anything like this before. The ride cars were going to have to be designed completely from scratch. It needed a brand new track. This thing was incredible. Although to this day it still gets a little bit of stick off some enthusiasts, as it isn't the most intense coaster, I think personally it's one of the finest rides at Alton Towers, and it is an amazing piece of engineering by B&M, which opened to the public in March 2002. It was then rebranded in July 2015 as Galactica, where VR headsets were added and a portal around the first drop. The VR didn't last long, only a season or two, but the ride and the portal still stand as Galactica today. The ride is now themed around you taking a one-man vessel for a flight around the galaxy. Next up, it's one of the more controversial secret weapons. It's 13, or Secret Weapon 6. It was March 2009 when construction got underway, and throughout the summer of 2009 we saw lots of marketing popping up for the new ride, and it was also speculating towards a re-theme of Ugland. One notable strapline from the marketing was Surrender in 2010, followed by The Demon of the Dark Forest, which would of course be the name of the area in which the new ride would sit in alongside Rita. The ride opened in March 2010 as the world's first vertical freefall drop roller coaster, or a side coaster. A lot of guests were actually left unhappy or unfulfilled by 13, as the marketing suggested it was going to be a psychological and really frightening roller coaster, and of course we ended up with 13, as we all know, a nice family roller coaster, nothing too intense, with some really fun elements. Now it's time to look at the one we've all been waiting for, and the most notorious of all the secret weapons. It's the Smiler. After multiple problems, the ride eventually opened on the 31st of May at around midday. The ride, created by Gerstlauer, is the first ever ride and only one today to feature 14 inversions, which is the most on any coaster in the world. It is one of my favourite rides in the UK, it's certainly my top 3 and I absolutely adore it. Unfortunately, just 2 years after opening, the Smiler would be involved in one of the biggest coaster crashes we'd ever seen. A ride car carrying 16 guests collided with an empty car that hadn't made it round the track, unfortunately causing some serious injuries to the unfortunate riders. The ride has since reopened with increased safety procedures and thankfully hasn't seen any incidents since. So during the early 2015 season, rumours started to circulate that the resort had started to work on the next instalment in the Secret Weapon series of rides. And just 12 months later, in February 2016, the retirement of the popular water ride, the Flume, really sealed the deal, as Alton Towers announced this will be the location for SW8. And more good news followed in the coming months when it was confirmed by Alton Towers that we'd be getting a long-awaited wooden roller coaster at the resort. Created by GCI, or Great Coasters International, the Wickerman would be the first wooden coaster seen at Alton Towers and was welcomed with open arms by ride enthusiasts and the public alike. It is a fantastic, fast-paced and really well-themed ride, and it was an amazing addition to Alton Towers, and it's a ride that can be enjoyed by everybody from the ride enthusiasts to the younger members of the family. And that's going to bring us up to date with the secret weapons of Alton Towers. Now all there is to do is to speculate on what the next secret weapon will be, Secret Weapon 9. Now of course, Alton Towers face many issues when building big coasters, often due to the tree line restrictions and complaints from local residents. Due to this, a lot of big manufacturers that are known for the taller coasters are often out of discussion when it comes to Secret Weapon 9, but personally I'd really love to see a UK first RMC, but I'm sure that goes for any ride enthusiast, any excuse to see an RMC in a park in the UK. But I'd also really like to see something similar to Icon, maybe a Mac double launch, but maybe something a little bit more thrilling with a faster launch and a little bit more going on in its layout. I think something like that could be a fantastic addition to Alton Towers, but of course, being a ride enthusiast, I'd really love to see maybe a single rail Raptor or one of the other coasters that RMC offer. That would be absolutely amazing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so drop us a line in the comments, let us know what you want to see next at Alton Towers, and also let us know which one was your favourite in the Secret Weapon lineup. That's going to wrap up this video here on Inversion Addicts. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.